Okay, let's try this again. This is the second time filming this because last time I did the wrong setting on the microphone and the audio looked like this. Because these are heat set, I went ahead and used an iron. I recently had the really deep desire to just wear the blood of my enemies on my clothing. And so, like any sane person, I asked my closest friends, could I put fake blood on myself and go out in public without being arrested? The general consensus is you shouldn't do that because that would cause mass hysteria. I came up with an idea that suited me and made sure that the general public does not lose their minds. What if instead of corn syrup or paint all over my person, I made an embellishment that I could wear over and over and over again? As you saw in my last Celia video, I have been working on making her bodice with a bunch of seed beads. And so I thought, what if I used a bunch of red seed beads to make it look like blood all over my clothing? So I know a lot of you are probably here for the tutorial part of this. So here's a list of the materials that I used, the beading and the crystals, and all the things along those lines are more optional and more based on your preferences. And if you want to use a color like blue, go for it. This is just how I did it personally. This is all about creativity. Do what you think is best. Starting off, what you need, you'll need some beading needles. These needles are not like your regular needles. They're a lot skinnier. They'll actually feed through the seed beads and not break the beads. And that's something I have learned from my mistakes. When selecting thread, I picked all-purpose thread just because I am low budget. Color-wise, this is more up to you. The two options you should really pick from are the color of the beads that you're using, and if that's red blood, then use red, or the color of the garment that you're beading. I ended up using the color of the garment because I wanted to be able to hide the thread better because I am a very messy sewer. I picked up some glass beads from Joann's. Some of them are seed beads. I got 20 grams of the seed beads and some extra string beads that I thought would look good as blood clots and dried blood, just the way that blood works. As more of an elegant touch to this, I decided to also add Swarovski crystals to it. The color that I used was light cyan in sizes 20, 30, and 34. What I did is use heat set crystals so that I don't have to worry about what glue to purchase and make sure that they last the longest as possible. I got about 3 dozen of each size, and that worked out really well for the project that I was doing. If you're doing a much larger surface area, then definitely get more. So after buying all of that, I did what I should have done first, and I actually designed where I wanted them to go on the garment. I knew I wanted a wound over the heart, and I didn't know where else I would like them, and I found that most balanced was down on the right side of the abdomen. When I was done with that, I laid down the garment and used tailor chalk to mark out the areas that I wanted to put the wounds at, about the sizes that I wanted to see them at. This is the area that I went ahead and put down all of my Swarovski crystals, lined them up the way that I wanted them to actually set on there for all of eternity. Remember, this is a very creative project and you can do whatever your heart desires. I put them down and I set them on with a hot iron and I steamed them on. There's probably a better way to do that, but it worked very, very well for me. When using Swarovski crystals, be warned that you should probably use something that isn't a knit and is woven material, like a woven satin or a woven silk or cotton. The sweater idea was very good, but the crystals are just popping off. After all those were on, I decided to go ahead and do all the beadwork on it, and it turned out a lot better than I was initially expecting. The place I originally learned how to do all the continuous lines of beading is Angela Clayton's amazing video on that subject, and it is linked up top here. To make it a little bit more realistic to how blood actually works, even though it's actually beads, I went ahead and asked the in-house phlebotomist how blood works. Hey Kayla!
What?
How does blood work?
It bleeds.
Thank! I don't really know how to explain my thought process of how things work. It was just more like, I'm sewing it on there and I need to put something on this side to make it look a little bit more balanced and to make it look a little bit more interesting, so I put a little bit of a clot there and darkened the blood and added bigger beads when they dripped down to the bottom, and kept the ones closest to the wound as red as possible, and the further out they went, the darker or more drippy they got. My goal was probably more wounds on the person rather than splatters, so feel free to be creative and show me what you do with it. The best part about this, especially if you don't use Swarovski crystals, is you can actually just snip all the beads off and use the garment as it is again. My recommendation, if it is a garment that you need to wash regularly, is to turn it inside out and wash it, just so that nothing gets pulled or hurt. But if it's dry clean only, all the better. Nothing's gonna get hurt, ever. Except for maybe you, because of all those chemicals. As per Angela Clayton's tutorial on continuous beading, I'm going to do my best to explain it and show it to you as follows. Begin your thread how you like to on your garment. Knot it and pick up a few beads, pull them all the way down on the thread and go only the distance that they go. Push the needle through the garment and pull it up on the side that you began with. Push it through the beads again, and don't put it through the garment. Instead, put a few more beads on, push it through the garment, begin one bead further back than the few that you put on, go through that and through all the beads you just did continuously, and repeat until you are satisfied. Once you've completed all of this, you are free to wear it as you please, go out in public and watch everyone else's reactions if that is what you enjoy, or just feel more empowered that you are still standing despite all the wounds on your person. If you do this yourself, I want to see what you did with this and all your creative endeavors. Please tag me in everything that you did on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. That'll be it for this week. I'll see everyone next Thursday.